Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hopefully, you're all enjoying family food, all that good stuff, some football as well. Wanted to catch you guys up on some news stories, and then we'll take a look at this triple header. I think it's a pretty good slate today here on today's show. My name is Harrison Graham. You know what? I'm thankful for all of you, everyone that watches this channel. Maybe it's your first time watching us here at Verts. We launched about 15 months ago. We're just under 15,000 subscribers, so just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in each and every day. If you've watched one episode or if you watched every single video or somewhere in between, I'm very thankful for all of you. And if you want to support the show, daily NFL, college football content, subscribe. It's free. We appreciate it. All right, let's hit some news stories here. Frank Ragnow is back. No one really saw this one coming. Remember about a month or two, or it might have been right before training camp. Can't remember when it was. It was definitely after the draft. The Lions center kind of surprisingly retired. He's 29 years old, but he had a lot of wear and tear, and he said, you know what, I'm just done. Well, the Lions tweeted out a photo of him running out of the tunnel, and everybody's like, is he back? And then, yeah, he's back. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, others confirmed that he is coming out of retirement and returning to the Lions. Now, unless there's some new update that I haven't seen, I don't think he's playing here in a little bit. But he will be back very, very soon. I would assume as soon as the next game for Detroit, which would be next weekend. It's a pretty big boost, I would say, right? Emotionally, mentally, physically. You know, Detroit's still having a good year, but kind of feels like something's been missing. Obviously, they lost both their coordinators, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. I'm not saying that Frank Ragnow changes all that, but that interior offensive line, a lot of young guys, I think this is a pretty big deal for Detroit, and it's good timing too, right? If you're a Lions fan, I mean, you got this three-horse race right now with the Chicago Bears who play tomorrow on Black Friday against the Philadelphia Eagles, and then the Lions-Packers today, which is a huge game. But then to get Ragnow back for the final stretch of the season, that should provide a lift for Detroit. We'll see, you know, kind of what shape he's in and all that stuff. But, yeah, I would say that's a pretty big deal for Dan Campbell's team. Okay, sticking in the NFC North, what is the latest on J.J. McCarthy? He is still in the concussion protocol, but he was limited on Wednesday. He was able to actually go out there and do some things, so that's a good sign that maybe he can progress through this quickly. Now, Max Brosmer is still expected to start this weekend. I don't think McCarthy is going to clear the protocol this week, but maybe, just maybe, this is one game off and he gets back in there, although you wonder, what if Brosmer plays well? Big picture, obviously, with McCarthy, that's the big question. Like, is he still their guy moving forward? Real questions if that's the case. Diana Rossini wrote this on The Athletic, saying that inside Minnesota, inside the building, that locker room, there are some pondering how difficult this season might look, or how different, this season might look with better quarterback play. Right now, the question ringing through the building and across the league is impossible to ignore. Why did you ever let Sam Darnold go? You do wonder, is there a world where J.J. McCarthy has played his last snap for the Vikings? Now, again, I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's going to play this weekend, but you would figure he's going to, when he's back, going to play the rest of the season. But what if Brosmer lights it up? You know, Rossini wrote in that article that, and some scouts around the league and other people have said this before, that, you know, Brosmer has some kind of Brock Purdy qualities about him, a lot of college experience, not the most gifted physical tools, but throws with timing, touch, accuracy, all that stuff. What if he just comes in and plays well? Like, would you give him another start? So I do think there's a small part of the Vikings that aren't glad JJ's hurt again, but like, let's see what Max Brosmer can do, right? I mean, what do you have to lose? Another game, you've lost 7 of those. So I would say that JJ does play again at some point, but big picture, I'm not convinced they're going to keep him unless he plays a lot better. And who knows, this Max Brosmer thing, if he plays well against a good Seattle defense, I mean, I'd probably give him another start, right? I mean, if he goes out there with those for 200 plus, couple of touchdowns, like, JJ hasn't been doing that. Type Y for yes, in for no. Will JJ start another game for Minnesota? Curious what you guys think. I would say yes, but you never know. All right, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Check out Prize Picks. It's the holiday season, the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right. I don't know about you, but my season-long fantasy football team has been cooked for weeks. That's why I like daily fantasy with Prize Picks, is I can play with different players all the time. Just pick 2 or more players, take more or less on their stat projections to qualify for a Prize Picks lineup. Here's a 3-player lineup that I cooked up for Prize Picks, a little Black Friday action. More on Caleb Williams, half a passing touchdown. More on Rome Odunze, 46.5 receiving yards. And then I took less on Saquon Barkley, 74.5 rushing yards. That's one of dozens, hundreds, thousands of Prize Picks lineups that you can try out there. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, Joe Burrow is also back. Despite the Bengals being 3-8, he wants to play. He was close to playing last week. He's going to give it a go. They have activated him to the 53-man roster, and he's going to play tonight as the Bengals take on the Ravens in the 3rd game of this Thanksgiving triple header. Now, there's a part of me that's like, why would you even do this? Why would you risk it from a team standpoint? But from a Burrow standpoint, he's dealt with a lot of injuries. I understand him wanting to be out there. He's making a lot of money, probably feels responsible to be out there for his team. And I will say this, while it's a long shot, while it's unlikely, this division is not, the door's not completely shut on Cincinnati. You're 3 games back of Baltimore, yes, but they still play them twice, including tonight. So if you beat them tonight and then beat them the second time, okay, you've made up 2 of those 3 games. Maybe there's an outside shot. Pittsburgh, no more head-to-head games, so you're going to need some help there. They split with the Steelers this year. Realistically, you're probably going to have to win out. 9-8 is probably what it's going to take, but who knows? Last year, the Bengals were 4-8, and they won 5 in a row to get to 9-8 and just missed out. 9-8 this year, though, might win the division with how weak it is this season. So we'll see. You win tonight, at least you're somewhat in the mix, and I do respect Burrow for wanting to play. It's obviously been a big disappointment for Cincinnati this year, and you wonder what Zach Taylor's status is moving forward. But his quarterback is back, and we'll see if he can provide a boost. What about CJ Stroud? Is he also back? It certainly seems like that. Now, technically, he is not completely cleared the concussion protocol, but he was a full participant on Wednesday. Once you become full, if you're in the concussion protocol, that means you're in the final stages. There's like one more threshold you have to clear. Basically, you have to clear that final threshold for contact. Quarterbacks don't get touched in today's NFL in practice, so you're allowed to be a full participant. Jonathan Jones did add this, saying that he fully participated after missing the last 3 games due to that concussion, continues to work his way through the protocol. So if he's full on Wednesday, I got to think he's going to be ready to go on Sunday. Now, until he fully clears, until they announce that, we have to wait and see. Another key note here is that the Texans have gone 3-0 with Davis Mills. Now, it's not like Davis Mills has lit it up, but he's done some good things. I think for a backup, he's played pretty damn well. So kind of a lot of pressure on CJ Stroud, considering the Texans are back in the playoff mix. They play the Colts this week. One of 2 matchups with the Colts they have the rest of the way. They're 2 games back of the Colts. So if they can sweep Indianapolis, the division is still up for grabs. They already split with Jacksonville, who they're only 1 game back of. So this is a big game. So if Stroud plays, a lot of pressure to play well and win this game. Okay, lastly, let's just kind of dive into this triple header a little bit, and we'll kind of take a look at the playoff picture as well as we're kind of entering the stretch run here, week 13 of 18 in the regular season. It's a pretty fun slate, right? I mean, you got the 1 o'clock Eastern game, Packers at Lions in Detroit. That should be a fun one. Chiefs at Cowboys all of a sudden is huge. Dallas 5-1, Kansas City 6-5. Kind of feels like the loser of this game is on the outside looking in big time, but the winner is kind of back in the mix, especially Kansas City, but even Dallas in a crowded NFC. If they get to 6-5-1, who knows? Maybe they can make a push. And then we mentioned Joe Burrow and the Bengals earlier. It's a long shot, but if that's the 3rd of the 3 games in terms of quality, I don't mind a little Bengals-Ravens to wrap up my night, have a little leftover plate, and watch Lamar and Joe Burrow sling it around. I'm certainly not going to complain about that. Pretty awesome slate. I can't wait to watch these games today, so hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. And all of these games, have playoff implications. That's what you want when the schedule comes out. These holiday games, these primetime standalone games, you want these games to matter, and they all do, because when you look at the NFC, obviously Green Bay, Detroit is huge, not only for the NFC North, but for wild card positioning. If Detroit beats Green Bay, they basically flip. Green Bay would fall out, Detroit would go in to the playoff picture. Obviously, Dallas needs to win to surpass Carolina and kind of be on the doorstep of San Francisco, the loser of Detroit, Green Bay, etc. And then you go to the AFC. We just talked about Kansas City. They got to keep winning. They're on the outside looking in on the playoff picture as well. Baltimore, who's entered it as the leader in the AFC North, if they were to lose to Cincinnati, they would fall all the way out, and Pittsburgh would enter that 4 seed. So these games, they all matter. You win one game, you could move up a few spots. You lose one game, you could be completely out. So a lot of pressure on all of these teams playing on Thanksgiving. Who wins each game? Packers, Lions, who you like in that one? Chiefs, Cowboys, who you like in that one? Bengals, Ravens. I'm going to go Detroit, Kansas City, Baltimore. I don't think Burrow's enough. He hadn't played in 2.5 months. That's a big ask. So I'm going to go with the home teams in the first and third game, and then I think the Chiefs. Until they're knocked out, I think they're going to find a way to get into the postseason, and to do that, they probably going to win this game. So Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, that's what I'm rolling with. You guys let me know who you're rolling with. My name is Harrison Graham. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Enjoy your holiday, and we will see you guys soon here on 4 Verts.